हर साल कितने बच्चे IIM का एग्जाम देते हैं which is known as CAT? अराउंड 4 लाख लोग.
अच्छा.
राइट. सीट्स कितनी हैं? 6000.
Foreign education is only meant for those जिनके पास बहुत पैसा है. What's your point on that?
आज से 20 साल पहले ऑफ कोर्स लोगों को लगता था कि एजुकेशन बाहर जा रहे हैं तो एक्सपेंसिव होगा, इंडिया में पढ़ते हैं, बट आज की डेट में इंडिया में पढ़ना शायद ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव है बहुत सारी कंट्रीज़ के कंपैरिजन. आज आई थिंक 15 से 20 देश हैं जहाँ एजुकेशन एब्सोल्युटली फ्री है.
Correct.
So if you even compare it with India, education is not free anymore. So for parents as well, it is very important आप एक clear vision रखें, और students के लिए भी आपको अगले 5 साल 10 साल क्या करना है, कहाँ करना है, and the most important चीज़ क्यों करना है. उसके बेसिस पे you can formalize a strategy for yourself. हर बच्चा क्रिकेट खेलता है बचपन में, बट वो क्रिकेटर बने ना बने वो एक अलग चीज़ है, बट ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उसे क्रिकेटर ही बनना चाहिए. आप हर चीज़ में अच्छे हो सकते हो. राइट. वो 3 Idiots में बोलता है ना कि अगर लता मंगेशकर क्रिकेट खेलती तो इतनी अच्छी सिंगर हमें कैसे मिलती.
Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike Pe Milenge. I am your host Tamanna. So today's episode is not about choosing one country over another. It is about awareness over assumption. So in a country like India, which is so full of ambition and talent, are students here fully exploring the pathway that is available to them. So in a country filled with talent and ambition, are students fully exploring the pathway that is available to them? Because sometimes the gap is not about capabilities, it's about clarity. So that's why in today's episode, to answer our doubts, we have an expert with us, Mr. Parag, the founder of Advisory, an EdTech consulting platform. So let's welcome him to the show. So thank you so much for taking out your time and coming here.
Pleasure to be here.
So let's start off with very basic that we hear in every household.
Yeah.
कि foreign education is only meant for those जिनके पास बहुत पैसा है, और it is considered as a luxury in the education sector rather than having a reason behind doing so.
Right.
So what's your point on that?
Well, maybe 20 years back it was correct.
Okay.
But आज I think 15 से 20 देश हैं जहाँ एजुकेशन एब्सोल्युटली फ्री है.
Correct.
So if you even compare it with India, education is not free anymore, right? It's become a business, that's another thing. But if we talk about tuition and cost of living and everything, and let's compare it with the best schools India has, right? So in business management, we have IIMs, right? They start from 20 lakhs, they go up to 40 lakhs, right? And that's only tuition fee. If you add cost of living and everything, the study trips, the exchange programs, add 10 lakhs more. And if you talk about the engineering ones, that's IITs, that's anywhere between 10 to 20 lakhs, right? So education is not affordable anywhere in India. And I'm talking about creme de la creme. Now let's talk about private universities. I'm not going to take names, but they are between 15 to 20, sometimes 30.
Yeah.
The number one Indian business school is around 47 lakhs.
Oh my God.
Right. And now let's compare foreign. Right. Let's talk about the top countries which are absolutely free.
Okay.
Look at Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland. Obviously, nobody goes to Iceland, but for study, maybe for honeymoon or holidays or trips. But Sweden, absolutely free. There is no tuition fee.
Okay.
If you look at Germany, there is no tuition fee at all. Right? If you look at Austria, if you look at Italy, there is no tuition fee.
Oh my God.
And when I talk about tuition fee, it's absolutely zero. There is obviously administrative fees, examination fees, this and that, which is still not more than, say, 400 euros a year, right? So that's around 40,000 rupees a year. So if you compare the creme de la creme of India, and I'm talking about, let's say, the number one school where we are sitting right now is IIT Delhi.
Correct.
4 years of engineering fees for IIT Delhi as of today is around 10 lakh rupees, right? I'm only talking about tuition fee. And that's ranked 123 worldwide as per the latest QS rankings, the most prestigious rankings in the world.
Okay.
And now let's compare Germany. The number one German engineering school, which is ranked 22 worldwide, not 123, right? That's zero. So the cost of living in Germany, the tuition fee in Germany is absolutely zero compared to the top schools in India. So to answer your question and summarize in a very simple manner, आज से 20 साल पहले of course लोगों को लगता था कि एजुकेशन बाहर जा रहे हैं तो एक्सपेंसिव होगा, इंडिया में पढ़ते हैं, बट आज की डेट में इंडिया में पढ़ना शायद ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव है बहुत सारी कंट्रीज के कंपैरिजन.
बट आई बिलीव इसमें सबसे बड़ा डिसीजन मेकिंग कम्स इन द पेरेंट्स हैंड्स, राइट? एंड आई me myself, I have my siblings or friends. No parent is aware about things like that.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches you or wears you or counsels you about it.
True.
Now, what do we do with this gap?
I think it's a gap of communication and information, right?
Mhm.
20 years back again. Let's not go 20 years. Let's talk about 10 years back, right? 10
Right.
years back, we didn't have that much of information flowing on Instagram or social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these platforms maybe didn't exist, right? Today, India has one of the cheapest, most affordable internet, right?
Okay.
Everybody can
Yeah.
access information on internet,
Yeah.
right? And this is my message to parents as well.
Hmm.
All it takes is one Google search, right? How do you find colleges for your kids in India? Right? भैया भाभी बताते थे पहले
Yeah.
किसी जमाने में इसमें चले जाओ उसमें चले जाओ. आज की डेट में students are very aware.
Hmm.
So how do you basically search?
Hmm.
You basically do a Google search or chat GPT these days, right?
Hmm.
Top 10 schools for arts in India, top 10 schools for hospitality in India.
Right.
Similarly, just replace India with the country that you want to go to.
Exactly.
So let's say आपको लंदन जाना है,
Hmm.
right? You can simply do a Google search or chat GPT and ask top 10 colleges in India,
Hmm.
top 10 colleges in the UK with a budget of say this much,
Hmm.
which are also very good ranked in QS rankings or Financial Times. It will give you the entire list. So information की जो कमी पहले थी,
Hmm.
हम newspapers पे depend करते थे, counselors पे depend करते थे.
Hmm.
I am myself a counselor. I run a business.
Yeah.
It's been 8 years now. I myself studied abroad.
Hmm.
But आज की डेट में भी अगर मेरे पास कोई आता है तो मैं सबसे पहले उन्हें ये नहीं बोलता हूँ कि yes, please listen to me or please listen to this company. I
Yeah.
always tell them, do a Google search.
Do your research.
Do your research.
Hmm.
Right? When I wanted to study abroad 10 years back, I did 2 years of research. कहाँ जाना है, क्यों जाना है.
Hmm.
तो ये information, क्योंकि I think शादी के बाद सबसे बड़ा important factor education. I think उससे भी बड़ा है.
Obviously,
Right?
उससे बड़ा है.
तो
Yeah.
my point is कि आपको एक छोटी सी गूगल सर्च करनी है, चैट जीपीटी से पूछना है, फिर ऑफ कोर्स आप काउंसलर से पूछ सकते हैं, आप अपने पेरेंट्स से पूछ सकते हैं, फैकल्टी से पूछ सकते हैं, सीनियर्स से पूछ सकते हैं, which are the good options for me. So thanks to internet, we have so many platforms today. Just do your research and then go to a counselor.
Research का ठीक है, but every time that Indian rupees converted to euros or
Right.
dollars,
Right.
the Indian audience is doomed. We're scared,
I understand.
especially the parents.
I understand. But when tuition fee is zero
Yeah.
at some university in certain countries, the exchange rate doesn't matter. The tuition fee 10 years back in Germany was zero. The tuition fee today in Germany is zero. And I'm not positioning Germany here. I'm saying there are 15, 20 countries where tuition fee is absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, there are certain countries and certain programs and schools where tuition fee is still there, right? And of course, I completely agree with you that exchange rate is rising and the cost of living is rising, but so is tuition fee in India.
Correct.
Last year, IITs and IIMs, they raised the tuition fee. There was a bill in the parliament that the tuition fee needs to be increased, right? 5 years back, tuition fee at the best Indian business school was probably around 25 lakhs.
Yeah.
Today, it's around 45 lakhs. So when you compare it, with global parameters, I think exchange rate is not that big of a factor. Also, we should look at it two way. Number one, आज की डेट में, for example, तमन्ना अगर आपको फॉरेन जाना है,
Yeah.
तो आपको लगेगा एक्सचेंज रेट बहुत ज्यादा है,
हाँ,
right?
true.
बट कल जब आपकी जॉब लगेगी तो आप चाहोगे कि एक्सचेंज रेट ज्यादा हो.
Yeah.
क्यों? क्योंकि then you will be earning in pounds or euros or dollars, and when you have your Indian account, NRO or whatever the account is, you'll be sending money and you'll be getting the same exchange rate.
Yes.
So you have to look at both
Different
the ways.
perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yes. But yet again, you are from an organization where you need to deal with parents and students from diverse fields and different kind of psychological
Yeah.
or physical barriers, right? So how tough is it to stretch these horizons of parents to bring in the narrative of foreign education in their mindsets, and just give them and tell them about the options
Yeah.
that this exists.
Yeah.
Free, no tuition fee in Germany exists.
Yeah.
Or how tough was that for you individually?
It was very simple for me. I'll tell you why. Because
Okay.
I'm talking about 2013. So I was working in Gurgaon.
Okay.
So I graduated in 2010, did my engineering, and then I was working in Gurgaon. And then there was a conference जहाँ पे IIT Delhi के professor आए हुए थे. It
अच्छा.
was a sales conference.
Okay.
So I asked the same question because today's Prayag is absolutely different compared to 12 years or 13 years, Prayag. So I had this conversation with that professor. मैंने उनसे सिर्फ एक चीज पूछी कि sir, I'm planning to go for my masters. Should I choose India or should I choose abroad?
Okay.
उन्होंने सिर्फ एक आंसर दिया, and I think that would possibly the best answer for every parent. उन्होंने कहा जॉब यहाँ करनी है, जॉब फॉरेन में करनी है.
अच्छा.
As simple as that. if you want a career, and I'm adding entrepreneurship as well today because entrepreneurship is booming and everybody wants to, venture in something.
Yeah.
उन्होंने सीधे बोला कि आपको यहाँ रहना है या वहाँ रहना है. That has to be your call. So I'm always asking these parents, what do you want for your kids? बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स होते हैं जो बोलते हैं हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा बाहर जाए. कुछ पेरेंट्स होते हैं जो कहते हैं हमारा बच्चा इंडिया में ही रहे. I'll give you some anecdotes as well, funny anecdotes, but to answer this question, so I always ask them, अगर आपके बच्चे को इंडिया में रहना है अगले 2 साल, 5 साल, 10 साल, please study in India.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to go abroad. In Germany का number 1 college कौन सा है आपको नहीं पता होगा. फ्रांस का कौन सा है आपको नहीं पता होगा. स्वीडन का कौन सा है आपको नहीं पता होगा. So आपके एम्प्लॉयर्स को भी इंडिया में नहीं पता होगा. So doesn't make any sense कि कल आप बोलो कि प्रयाग ने बोला था कि जर्मनी में एजुकेशन फ्री है तो मैं जर्मनी चलता हूँ, पढ़ता हूँ, डिग्री लेता हूँ, and then I come back and find jobs. आपका HR बोलेगा आप कौन से कॉलेज से हो, even if it is crème de la crème, right? So my point is, when you study in a certain country, your degree, your institution has a regional value, right?
Right.
एक छोटा सा anecdote देता हूँ. मैं फ्रांस में था 10 साल पहले. मेरे साथ कुछ एक्सचेंज के बच्चे आए हुए थे. So in my hostel we had students from IMT Ghaziabad and IIM Bangalore. I went to Kedge Business School in France, and वो लोग शाम को हम लोग ऐसे ही घूमने फिरने गए तो उन्होंने ना IIM Bangalore और IMT Ghaziabad की हुडी पहन रखी थी.
Okay.
और हम लोग साउथ ऑफ फ्रांस में टहल रहे हैं. मैंने उनसे पूछा, मैंने कहा तुमने हुडी क्यों पहन रखी है? कह रहे यार IIM की है और IMT की है, हमें पहनना चाहिए, थोड़ा सा प्रेस्टीज होता है. मैंने कहा ऑफ कोर्स, लेकिन यहाँ कौन जाता है? Nobody knows in south of France what is IIM Bangalore, what is IMT Ghaziabad. Great schools,
right.
But in India,
100%,
right? They might give you international careers, but great schools in India. Similarly, I tell this to my friends and students and clients as well. For example, कल आप जाते हो ऑस्ट्रेलिया, right? आप टॉप यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ते हो, उसकी हुडी पहन के दिल्ली में घूमने का कोई पॉइंट नहीं है. Nobody would know. So it's a very simple anecdote. So for parents as well, it is very important आप एक clear vision रखें, और students के लिए भी आपको अगले 5 साल 10 साल क्या करना है, कहाँ करना है, and the most important चीज क्यों करना है. उसके basis पे you can formalize a strategy for yourself.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. But yet again, ऐसे भी कुछ cases आपने देखे होंगे wherein you found out कि matter नहीं करता how much the parents wanted.
Yeah.
Sometimes a student is very clear no matter from which tier city they're coming from.
Yeah.
So for cases like that, how do you kind of take it from the child's angle to the parents?
Correct. So 2 cases हैं. पहली चीज ये है when you are going for undergrad.
Yeah.
Right? Then the decision maker is parents.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You have to talk to them.
Indeed.
18 साल के बच्चे को ये जरूर पता होता है कि मुझे करना क्या है, बट कैसे करना है, क्यों करना है, कहाँ करना है, कितने पैसे लगेंगे, वीजा मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा. You have to deal all of this with the parents. But when the students are going for, let's say, graduation or post graduation, the story is absolutely different.
Correct.
So let's say if there is a student who is right now in high school, we need to talk to parents. Of course, we need to understand the strategy and everything from the student, usko karna kya hai, aspirations, and then we address the strategy to parents. But when there is a person, let's say he's working in Gurgaon for 5 years, right? He would anyway have an idea कि मैं 5 साल से सप्लाई चेन में हूँ तो अब मैं फैशन नहीं पढ़ूंगा,
obviously,
मैं HR नहीं पढ़ूंगा, मुझे सप्लाई चेन में स्पेशलाइजेशन करना है.
clarity है.
तो that person has a deeper clarity compared to an 18-year-old.
100%.
In that case, parents का उतना role नहीं रहता है. But again, we address parents, counselors, teachers, and students, everyone. So it depends on case-to-case basis.
But coming back to the options,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, I got triggered by the fact that India mein there's a very big problem.
Yeah.
As we discussed this before, there are only there are 2 extreme poles, right?
Yeah.
There are 2 poles, and there's one, these IITs and IIMs, obviously great colleges indeed, and then comes these fancy colleges with the whole student of the year kind of a setup.
Yeah, true.
And then there are people stuck on the midway where nobody considers.
It's my favorite question, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you have to say about that?
It's a waste of time. To put it as simply as that. I respect all the institutions and everything, and there would be a market for everything. So for example, in a country like India, where we have 1.4 billion people, close to 40 million enrolled in higher education, close to 270 million enrolled in school education. So there would be a market for everyone.
Yes.
Not everyone can go to IIMs. Not everyone can go to IITs or NIFTs and everything. So I'm sorry. So there would be a market for top schools, average schools, substandard schools. But I wouldn't do it. Why? let me give you some numbers. So let's say if I'm an Indian student today and I want the best for myself, or if I'm a parent, I want the best for my kids, I'll quote the same example of IIMs versus IITs.
Yeah.
हर साल कितने बच्चे IIM का एग्जाम देते हैं, which is known as CAT? Around 4 लाख लोग.
अच्छा.
Right? Seats कितनी हैं? 6,000. 4 लाख में 6,000 का तो IIM मिल गया. And I'm talking about all the IIMs, which are 21 in number. ABC में तो सिर्फ 1,500 सीट है. ABC is Ahmedabad, Bangalore and Calcutta, which has creme de la creme, right? So 6,000 को तो IIM मिल गया. Absolutely fine. बाकी 3,94,000, 3,94,000, उनके पास क्या ऑप्शन है? I know there are some good schools in every state. Let's say another 10,000. Or let's say 20,000. What about other 3.7 lakh or something? They're going to substandard schools.
God.
So what is the option that you have? Look abroad. Right? I'm not saying that go abroad, settle abroad. That's absolutely individual choice. See, पहले आज से 10 साल 20 साल पहले लोगों को लगता था brain drain हो रहा है.
Exactly.
Right?
Brain wash हो गया. अब again, just quoting parents.
Yeah.
हमने अपना बच्चा खो दिया.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That's how I don't get that.
No, I agree. आज से एक दशक पहले, one decade back, students and parents both were thinking brain drain hai, we shouldn't go abroad. There was a very simple question asked to our External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and he said it's not brain drain anymore, it's brain circulation.
Wow.
Brain drain tab hota hai when you go abroad because you don't have opportunities in India and you settle abroad and you never come back. There are students like that. I mean, I'm not quoting, but Google's and Microsoft CEOs are examples of that. And they've been doing great for themselves, for India, for the world. Absolutely fine. But what about masses? If 2 lakh, 3 lakh students are going abroad, never coming back to India, then obviously that's a brain drain. But today there is a brain circulation. How? There are opportunities in India. Right?
Correct.
Number one. Number two, there's entrepreneurship boost in India.
100%.
Right? With the latest support of government under new education policy, foreign universities are coming to India, Tamanna.
Yes.
You would have seen in past 2 years, 15 universities have set up campuses in India. The place where I live, Gurgaon, मेरे घर से 10 मिनट दूर University of Southampton का India campus है. Now Southampton is what, 6,000-7,000 kilometers away? But their full-fledged campus is in Gurgaon.
Wow.
There's Australia, there's French, there's Canadian universities coming to India. So you can actually go abroad, get a degree, work there, get skill set, and then there are enough opportunities for you to come back.
And also, do they get an edge for that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. For example, let's say first of all, you would know that every government has embassy in India.
Yes.
And they have different trade chambers as well. I'll give you an example of where I studied. So France, we have a chamber called Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, which is a network of around 1,000 plus French companies in India.
Wow.
Right. And then French embassy itself organizes job fairs every year for students who went abroad. There is a specific visa which is given to Indian students who go to France. It's called alumni visa. You wouldn't have heard of it. There is work visa, there is tourist visa, there is study visa, there is business visa. What is alumni visa?
Yeah.
Right.
Hearing with first
The government wants you to explore opportunity on both sides, of course, India and France, both governments. They want you to explore opportunity in India as well. Because not just Indian companies are in India, French companies are in India. Decathlon, right? L'Oreal, Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Chanel.
Wow.
Renault cars. Rafale, India is buying Rafale. Everybody knows what Rafale is. Dassault, aviation, they have office in India. Capgemini, Orange, all of these French companies are in India. So even if, let's say, parents want their kids to stay in India, you can actually send them abroad, have a wonderful education, great life, work there for a couple of years, get international skill set, come back.
Wow.
And you still work for an international company in India. Number one. Number two, you still get paid as per international standards, not just as per local standards.
Oh, wow.
Right. So that's number two. Number three, you still have that France alumni visa thing. So you can put it on your CV. You can travel whenever you want. For example, let's say I'm an alumni, right? I'm not traveling to France right now, but if I have to travel to Paris right now, I can actually go to IGI and take a plane because I have that visa. And that access is provided to every Indian student.
It sounds like a very elite access.
It is. It is. But it's very easy to get.
Yeah.
Not everyone can get, but obviously once you become an alumni in France, you can actually benefit from that.
Why are we not aware of all of this happening?
Yeah, because all of this is on internet, but we are not basically searching with right keywords for right source.
Oh my God.
So my point is, information is always there. You just need to dig out that information related to your aspirations.
Correct.
You can actually write on ChatGPT that, hi, my name is so and so. I want to go abroad, get a degree, work there for a couple of years, and I want to come back to India to explore the international market in India and obviously the Indian entrepreneurship space as well. Could you recommend certain countries to me? Right? Do you think ChatGPT would recommend Pakistan to you or Bangladesh to you or Sri Lanka to great countries? I'm not, defaming them, but it would actually give you a list of countries which have great ties within India. Right? Number one. Number two, great ecosystem of their companies in India and great education system as well. So these are the opportunities, but then we just need to dig properly.
But digging is one thing. Other is, say, one thing that we cannot change about India, the dependency in such decisions of parents and child together.
Yeah.
It's a very dependent relationship, right? So whenever we talk about the education system or whether a foreign country or Indian, parents are very, they show that trust towards the Indian education dynamics.
Absolutely.
As compared to, for say a child who's clueless, but wants to convince his parents, what does he do? What's the first initial steps to at least pacify that aspect of his life so that he can even think about it?
Right. Good question. So, parents के दिमाग में हमेशा रहता है, as you mentioned, that India का education system थोड़ा trustworthy है. We know the colleges, we know everything. Foreign का we don't know much.
Falana Dhumkane ka studied from there, so they know it.
Absolutely. But then look at the Indian universities, what they are doing. Number one, they're doing exchange programs with international universities. So IIM Bangalore is a great school in India, but they had an exchange program with my institution in France. And similarly, they have multiple exchange programs with different countries. That means IIM is wanting their students to go abroad, get exposure, right? Get skills, and then invite foreign students as well to come to India, learn more about Indian education system so that both of them benefit from each other. What is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam? The world is one place, right? Parents also need to understand that, classroom is not just four walls anymore. हमें लगता है कि इंडिया में पढ़ेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. Of course, as I said, India is a great place to be. Great place to study. Once again, I'll repeat, I'm not saying that go abroad, settle abroad, unless it's your aspiration. But at least go abroad, get skills, become a better individual, right? When you go abroad, once again, I'll give you a very simple example. Choose any school in India of your liking, in your mind. Any school. It could be the best school. Choose any program, let's say MBA, right? And imagine whatever the class size is, let's say 240 students. उस class में कितने foreigners honge? Full-time program.
Out of 240?
Yeah. Full-time program.
Okay.
And let me make it very simpler for you. So I went to IIM Dash. I'm not going to name them.
Okay.
I went there in 2019 and I asked them, so how many students do you have? They said around 500 or something in 2 different batches of MBA. And I asked them, how many international students you have in the full-time program? He said, guess the answer.
10?
0.
I was being very pessimistic here by saying that.
Anybody can Google that. That's not something that I'm making it up. You can actually Google. Of course, there are foreign students that come to India for exchange program at top universities, for short-term courses, summer school. I'm talking about full-time.
I'm from IIMC, which is Indian Institute of Mass Communication. So from there, and
it's a great school.
Yeah, and there are only like 5 people from abroad, and that too for that short-term or probably
program.
Even if for a diploma, then probably 1 student in the entire
I'm talking about full-time, none. Now, think about study abroad. Okay, pick any country of your choice. Since I'm from, I'm not from France, I'm from India very much, but I went to France. Let's pick one program, MBA, right? First of all, the class size is pretty small abroad, around 40 to 45 students. In 40 to 45 students, you would at least have 5 to 10 nationalities. And why Indian universities, despite being great, do not rank up amongst the best schools in the world? If you look at the top 100 business schools in the world, 4 or 5 are Indian. Not even all the IIMs, only 4 and 5. Why? Because diversity is not there. And it's a very important tool for international ranking platforms. Now, I'm talking about France. There's a batch of 40, 45 students. There is around 5 to 10 nationalities. And the program directors would ensure आपको पता होगा MBA में बहुत सारे ग्रुप वर्क होते हैं, चार का ग्रुप वर्क करेंगे, राइट? इंडिया में 4 करेंगे तो चारों इंडियंस हैं, राइट? वहां पे they will make sure nobody is from the same nationality.
Oh my God.
So you have an Indian, a Brazilian, a German, a Russian.
And you got that exposure?
Yeah, I did. But what is the advantage of it? The advantage is you're solving the problem with different perspectives,
Yeah.
right? You would solve a specific problem differently compared to a Brazilian, compared to a German, compared to a Russian.
A lot of different perspectives.
So you'd learn more, number one. Number two, you'd learn more about their cultures. Number three, you'd learn a bit more about their linguistics. Number four, you'd be able to share your values. And number five, you'd have an international network.
Yeah.
I went to Moscow before the war and I didn't know anyone in Moscow.
Okay.
But I realized, I had a girl student in my MBA class from Russia. So I just texted her on Facebook. This was 7-8 years back. And she was like, yes, Priyaga, I'm very much in Moscow. Let me come and, show you around. So done. Within 10 minutes, I had a friend in Moscow.
Oh my God.
Without being ever been to Moscow earlier. How? Because you study abroad, you have a great network.
Yes.
Tomorrow, you can actually do business with them.
100%.
You can invite them to India, set up a company, do multiple things. So for parents, this is what studying abroad brings onto the table. Studying in India is absolutely fine. There are 50,000 students coming to India, including the students who came to IIMC.
I'm not a parent yet, but I'm already convinced.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the information needs to be put out there. That's all.
Yes. If somebody tells them this beautifully and just see all aspects of it, it's pretty clear.
All of this, Tamanna, is on the internet.
Oh my God.
All of this. So I have never considered myself. So there are sometimes students who would text me on Teachers Day, Happy Teachers Day. I'm not even a teacher, right? I don't know why, because sometimes I counsel them. I don't even consider myself a counselor. I just consider myself as an awakener.
Okay.
Who can actually give you information. And I'm not producing information. All of this is available in the books, in the data. You can actually go to website. If you want to go to IIM Bangalore, go to IIM Bangalore. Simply do Google search. IIM Bangalore exchange partners. Voila. You have 50 colleges worldwide. Go to anywhere.
Now, I got another question from this. So now you might have seen a lot of people in front of you, like case studies from your own brand and company. So have you seen these kids who are going abroad and coming back? Have they like evolved drastically, or their personalities have changed, and the parents coming back to you, or probably they themselves reaching out that, I mean, thank you for that awakening, as you said. And have you seen that drastic change?
I would say the best example is sitting in front of you.
Is it?
I came back. I always wanted to come back. And there are people who get astonished when I say, I studied abroad, worked abroad, came back. Unka pehla sawal hota hai, sir, passport nahi liya aapne? And I was like, yeah, but I am very much in love with the navy blue passport that we have in India, right? So that's one thing. But then, yes, as per stats, the government of India stats, 22% of students come back in past 10 years, right? That's still a very low number, but then India is growing at a very fast pace. India is booming entrepreneurship. There's Digital India Initiative, right? There's a lot of manufacturing happening in India. There are a lot of foreign brands. 5 years back, there was no Apple store in India.
Yeah.
Look, we have in Noida today. We don't have one in Gurgaon, by the way, but we have in Noida, we have in Delhi. We have so many Apple stores. Last year, there was no Tesla in India. Today, Tesla is there in India. Right, India has done 15 free trade deals in past 2 years. The latest one being with the US, right? The trade deal, and then with the UK, and then European Union. So there are a lot of opportunities here. So slowly, possibly maybe in 10, 15 years from now, you would see a large influx of students coming to India. This was a situation with China 20 years back, right? That everybody wanted to study abroad and settle abroad. Today, Chinese students, they go abroad, get a degree, they come back because they know China is growing. China is the second largest economy in the world, and they want to be in China.
Yeah.
They want to learn the best of the world, right? But they want to come back and contribute to the Chinese economy. Yeah. And India is, about to see that.
Yes.
We already have 20% students coming back. We would have more in next decade.
In few years down the line, for say till 2027, how many students do you see going to other countries? How do you see the future of this industry?
As of now, as per, again, the government stats, we have around 6 lakh students going abroad every year.
Okay.
Right? A large chunk of them go to US, UK, US being around 3 lakhs or something, UK around 1 lakh, then followed by Australia, Canada. Canada, we have had, very, very odd even relationship in the past 2 years.
Mm.
So not a lot of them are going to Canada. They are exploring Europe.
Mm.
Overall, there are around 1.5 million students studying abroad at the moment. It is expected by the end of 2026, we are about to touch the number of 2 million Indian students studying abroad.
Okay.
Yes, by 2027. And the growth is pretty much around 20-25%.
Oh, wow.
Because last year it was roughly around 1.2. Right now it's around 1.6.
Okay.
By the end of this year, it should be around 2 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And whosoever comes to advisory, what are the few initial steps that a student gets exposed to if they want guidance from you guys?
So as I said, first thing we tell them is to do your own research.
Okay.
Don't just rely on us, fancy brochures, fancy offices.
Mm.
I know there are 5-star hotels where these foreign, universities come, they organize fairs. It's wonderful. You should definitely go. But then first thing is you should do your own research. Number one, then go to a counselor if you need help, right? Because there is a time when you would actually need help. Right. So, for example, for someone who has never been abroad, who's never applied to foreign universities, right, they would need to understand how does the application process work? What is statement of purpose? Right. I'll give you a very simple example. There was this a movie on. There's a series, Quota Factory on
the very famous
internet, and there's an IITian, right? And he wanted to go for a certain program. He got into some other program. He went to IIT Kharagpur. And the question is, did you actually want to go for this program or some other program? So he said, I wanted to go for computer science, but I got this program. Because at the end of the day, I wanted to be in IIT. But then he also said this one very important thing. जब आप foreign जाते हो, तो कितनी चीजें आपको करनी पड़ती हैं. आपको अपना रेज्यूमे बनाना पड़ता है, आपको अपना स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पस लिखना पड़ता है, आपको अपना एक लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन चाहिए होता है. आईआईटी में एडमिशन के लिए ये सब होता है क्या? आपको बस जेई देना है. That's all. IIMs में of course you have to take interview as well, right? But there's nothing in the Indian education system going to elite universities of this sort, right? So statement of purpose is very new to Indian students. So for example, same student jab India's best mein apply karta hai, the process is slightly different. For abroad, it's absolutely different. What is statement of purpose? Statement of purpose is the school wants to know, why do you want to come to us?
Yes.
Why this program? What is your career goal? Where do you see yourself 20 years down the line? Why should we select you for this program? You've been an engineer. You want to go for finance. Why finance from engineering? So you have to write a very compelling statement of purpose. A counselor could help you there. Number one. Number two, letters of recommendation. India में letter of recommendation आपको पता है कैसे होते हैं, right? हर कंपनी के पास एक टेम्पलेट होता है, तो बस आपका नाम चेंज करेंगे, डेट चेंज करेंगे और दे देंगे. Good behavior, blah blah blah. That's not an LOR. LOR should reflect your personality, should reflect your work ethics, should reflect what you deserve in life. So for example, अगर आप कहीं फॉरेन जाना चाहते हो और आपके मैनेजर हैं, आप एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं, बट इमेजिन करिए कि आपके कोई मैनेजर है और वो आपको एक ऐसा LOR देता है जिसमें लिखा है कि हाँ, तमन्ना इज अ गुड पर्सन, शी शुड स्टडी अब्रॉड. यू वुड गेट रिजेक्टेड बिकॉज दैट LOR डजंट टॉक अबाउट what kind of person तमन्ना is.
Very vague.
जब वो आई थी तब वो कैसी थी, पिछले 2 साल में उनका बिहेवियर कैसा रहा, उनकी ग्रोथ कैसी रही, what is she good in, what is the area of improvement for her, is she fit enough to go for that MBA program abroad or not? That is an LOR. So a counselor can help you there. Then the most important part is scholarship essay.
Okay.
Scholarship essay 2 तरीके के होते हैं. There's institutional scholarship given by the university, and then there's government scholarships. Right? You don't know how to write a scholarship essay. A lot of students, they write, oh, I'm not having enough funds, so I just need scholarship. That's a need-based scholarship.
Okay.
What about profile scholarship? You should talk about your extracurriculars, right? You should talk about your great linguistic skills. If you know any foreign language, put all of that in the scholarship essay, and then that scholarship essay is compelling. So all of that technicality, you need a counselor.
Yeah.
And uske baad agar admission ho bhi jaye, then of course you need the visa support, the accommodation, the flights, the insurance, everything.
A lot of people are scared of this whole procedure also.
It is pretty easy, but then again, you just need a guiding hand. So for example, let's say तमन्ना फॉरेन गई हैं, right? और अब मुझे जाना है, तो मैं तमन्ना से पूछ सकता हूँ. But अगर मेरे नेटवर्क में कोई भी नहीं गया है, how would I get that information? How would I know? So for that, I need a trusted support from a counselor who can actually guide me, hold my hand from end to end. So that is what we do. At advisory, from the very first day, we first of all try to understand your aspiration.
Okay.
What do you want to do? where do you want to do, when do you want to do, and why do you want to do. Why is the most important part. कल अगर कोई आके मुझे बोले कि I want to go to Harvard Business School, I would not say yeah, come work with us. I would say, okay, show me your CV. What is your academic score? What is your GMAT score? Have you taken any English test score? What is your statement of purpose? At least don't write it. Just tell me, why do you actually want to go to Harvard Business School? Do you actually deserve to be there? There is, as I said, there is a school for everyone. There is a destination for everyone. There is a country for everyone. Not everybody wants to go to the US.
Yes.
Some want to enjoy the relaxed European lifestyle. They can actually go to Europe. Some want to be very close to Asia. You can actually go to Singapore.
Yeah.
So it depends on your aspect. So we will ask them those questions. On the basis of that, we will provide them an action plan.
Okay.
कि अगले 3 से 6 महीने में आपको क्या करना है. And the most important part, everybody needs to start at least a year prior.
Everybody from your team has gone to abroad?
Everyone.
Everybody?
Everybody.
100%?
Yes.
Wow.
So to surprise you with possibly India's only company, which has the entire team that studied abroad.
That gains you a lot of credibility.
Yeah, we don't have any single counselor who never studied abroad. You can actually go to our website and verify them on LinkedIn. So we have people from Wharton Business School in the US, from LSE in the UK. We even have counselors from ISB Hyderabad, IIM Ahmedabad, right? And then we have counselors from EdHec, HEC, INSEAD, some of the best schools in the world, #1 Germany's school. So that is what we have. And these are the counselors who would be working on your profile.
Which is not the case in maximum consulting firms in India.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah.
Again, the same example, Kota Factory, which we were talking before the podcast.
Yeah.
So there is this example for your audience. So I think people who have watched Kota Factory, they would know उसमें एक IIT के टीचर होते हैं, वो पढ़ा रहे होते हैं, तो अचानक से एक बच्चा हाथ उठाता है, कहता है यस. तो वो कहते हैं कि बच्चे बोलते हैं कि सर आप कभी IIT गए हैं?
Yeah.
तो कहता नहीं मैं IIT तो नहीं गया. तो दोनों बच्चे एक दूसरे की शक्ल देखते हैं और कहते हैं हम लोगों ने गलत जगह एडमिशन ले लिया. So again, it's funny, ironical, but at the same time, it's very important that you do your research before enrolling somewhere.
100%. Yes.
Right? So that is very important because, as I said, even if the talent is there, for some little things, the person who has actually done that before could guide you.
Obviously.
So that is why it's very important.
Somebody who has gone to, we're going to mute this, Amity, how will they guide you if you want to go to Harvard, right?
Absolutely. And there are many such counselors in India. Again, I'm not defaming anyone. Some of them are doing great job. But my point is, अगर आपने स्विमिंग करी है तो आप क्रिकेट के कोच कैसे बन सकते हो अगर आपने कभी क्रिकेट नहीं खेला. मे बी आप कंडीशनिंग कोच बन सकते हो, आप फिजियो बन सकते हो, बट आप बैटिंग बॉलिंग कोच नहीं बन सकते. So for that experience is very important.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Isse one more thing comes to my head. It's said that हर किसी के लिए नहीं बना है foreign education.
Absolutely.
There is a certain parameters you need to analyze in yourself and your child from the parent's perspective, which tells you that is that person the right fit for foreign education or for a country to get settled if they are planning for that. So what are these attributes?
So आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा. Not everything is meant for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. हर बच्चा क्रिकेट खेलता है बचपन में, बट वो क्रिकेटर बने ना बने वो एक अलग चीज है, बट जरूरी नहीं है कि उसे क्रिकेटर ही बनना चाहिए. आप हर चीज में अच्छे हो सकते हो. राइट. वो 3 Idiots में बोलता है ना कि अगर लता मंगेशकर क्रिकेट खेलती तो इतनी अच्छी सिंगर हमें कैसे मिलती. सो नॉट एवरीथिंग इज मेंट फॉर एवरीवन, बट देन फॉरेन एजुकेशन डिपेंड्स अ लॉट ऑन योर गोल्स एंड एस्पिरेशंस इन लाइफ. एक बहुत बड़ा मिथ होता है फॉरेन एजुकेशन को लेके, जैसे वो वुल्फ ऑफ वॉल स्ट्रीट में बोलता है ना, मनी विल गिव यू अ बेटर लाइफ, अ बेटर कार. सो वी हैव ऑल दैट एस्पिरेशन as individuals. I want a bigger house.
Every Bollywood movie, every time you show a child or a kid studying abroad, it's like somebody drunk dancing in a club. Yeah, that's the first picturization. True. And second is that they're just in a cafeteria having a fancy coffee.
Absolutely.
That's the whole picturization.
And then they end up becoming millionaires and billionaires in Bollywood movies.
Yes.
First of all, ये सबसे बड़ा myth है. अगर लोगों को लगता है कि वो फॉरेन जाके millionaires बन जाएंगे सब, that's a myth. वो आप IIM Ahmedabad से भी नहीं बन सकते, वो IIT Delhi से भी नहीं बन सकते. For that there is a certain skill set required. I mean, see, a school can only be a great platform.
Yeah.
It cannot ensure success in life.
100%.
Nobody can guarantee you success in life. It can give you a great platform. अगर आप कल India's best business school या engineering school या fashion school जाते हो, doesn't mean आप इंडिया के best entrepreneur बनोगे या best fashion model बनोगे या best engineer बनोगे.
Correct.
or maybe best 1% में भी आओगे. It gives you a platform. So school is as good as a platform is. A platform would only launch you. It's a springboard. आपको wings देगा, आपको network देगा, आपको skills देगा, but guarantee नहीं देगा. Similarly, जब आप foreign जाते हो, तो as I said, to answer your question, क्या सबको जाना चाहिए? नहीं, सबको नहीं जाना चाहिए.
Okay.
किसको जाना चाहिए? जिनकी aspirations हैं. World is so big out there. I think it's a shame not seeing it. जरूरी नहीं है कि आप बाहर जाओ तो आप settle ही हो जाओ. I always believe, Tamanna, there are 3 kind of Indian students.
Okay.
Number 1, who go abroad, get a degree, come back immediately. Maybe family business, maybe their sabbaticals. Second category, जो first category बहुत कम होते हैं. Second category, who go abroad, work abroad for 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, get exposure, skills, and then they come back.
Okay.
And तीसरी category तो आप सबको पता ही है, who go abroad and never come back. Right? So, for me, I think the second category is best. Because when you're investing money in something, you want value in return. Right? अगर आप एक महंगी गाड़ी खरीदते हैं और वो कल खराब हो जाए, या आप उसे चलाओ ही मत, उसे खड़े रखो, तो उसकी वैल्यू आपको नहीं मिली ना. You have to drive it, to experience it, you have to go to different places, you have to travel, you have to invite your friends and family, and then you get the return on investment.
Yeah.
Similarly, just by going abroad, you don't get the value in return. You have to see the world out there. You have to create an international network, right? You have to work hard over there as well. Because ये एक छोटा सा myth दूसरा है कि study abroad life बहुत fancy होती है, जैसे आपने अभी कहा, right? कि बाहर जाते हैं, parties, cafe, movies में ऐसा दिखाते हैं. वो ये नहीं दिखाते कि आप कपड़े खुद ही धुलोगे, आप खाना खुद ही बनाओगे, right? यहाँ पे we have maids and servants and staff and everything.
Gardener and cook and
हर चीज
whatnot.
का facility होती है. बचपन से मम्मी कर देती हैं help, पापा कर देते हैं help, right? वहाँ पे there is no support ecosystem. So it's not fancy. It is definitely beneficial. It is very important that one should go abroad, study abroad, even if it's for 1 semester and then come back with international exposure. But then it's not fancy because you would have to, first of all, work very, very hard. You're on your own, right? आपको homesickness भी होगी, आपको घर की याद भी आएगी, but आप दिल्ली में तो है नहीं कि आप नोएडा जा सकते हैं.
Correct.
Right? आप 10,000 किलोमीटर इतना आ भी नहीं सकते. Then you would have to work hard on your education. आपको वहाँ भी अच्छा परफॉर्म करना है ताकि आगे जाके एक अच्छा करियर मिले. शाम को आपको ये सोचना है कि मैं खाऊंगा क्या, ब्रेकफास्ट क्या करूंगा, फिर आपको लॉन्ड्री भी करना है, राइट? एट द सेम टाइम अगर आप यूरोपियन कंट्री में चले गए तो आपको एक फॉरेन लैंग्वेज भी सीखनी है, राइट? कुछ बच्चों को पार्ट टाइम जॉब भी करनी है.
Obviously.
तो इट्स अ वेरी वेरी आई वुड से mixed process where you can actually turn yourself into gold if you burn like the gold first.
Correct.
So that is very important, that you would get the results, but then you'd have to work very, very hard on that. It's fancy for sure, but then it has its own caveats.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were there yourself, did you ever think in the beginning that this was the right call or this was not the right call?
Yeah.
Was it for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
First week I wanted to come back.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I'll give you, this is very funny. So this is 2015 I'm talking about. 2015, I still remember the date, 4th of September, went to IGI, my first international flight. And, people go to London, Paris, Milan, Sydney, New York. I went to Marseille.
Okay.
Nobody, maybe you don't know where Marseille is, right? Nobody knows where Marseille is. Marseille is the second largest city in France, next to Cannes, which also organizes Cannes Film Festival.
Festivals,
right? So मैं मार्से इसलिए नहीं गया था कि वहाँ कान फिल्म फेस्टिवल होता है. I wanted to go to a specific program, specific school, and that had the campus in Marseille. So I landed in Marseille 10 years back. I see this beautiful blue sky जो दिल्ली में नहीं दिखता है, right? So first of all, culture shock. ये कैसे दिखा? दूसरी चीज, there's nobody on the road. जैसे इंडिया में आप कहीं भी निकलो, you have lots and lots of people around you, right? There's nobody. I mean, maybe 5-6 people. Number 3, nobody speaks English.
Okay.
आज तो सब English बोलते हैं. Emmanuel Macron is coming to India tomorrow. He speaks great English, right? But then 10 साल पहले तो उनके president भी English नहीं बोलते थे, right? And imagine, the cab drivers and everything, they wouldn't speak English.
And you were all by yourself?
All by myself. I flew alone, right? Now, ये सारी चीजें हैं. उसके बाद you somehow book an Uber is around 60 euros back then. आपको 5,000 4,000 रुपए उस दिन के ट्रांजैक्शन रेट के हिसाब से देने हैं. एंड देन आप घर पहुंचते हो, वहाँ रिसेप्शन वाले को भी इंग्लिश नहीं आती है, फिर आपको चाबी मिलती है, आप घर पे जाते हो, यू हैव नथिंग टू ईट. आप घर से कुछ सामान तो ले गए हो, but then you need a SIM card, so you go to the market. There's a very funny story. I asked for the SIM card. The guy doesn't know what is a SIM card.
Oh God.
Yeah, I stood in line for around 20 minutes, and then somebody from the back told me, "Oh, he's asking for carte SIM."
Okay.
Because in French they call it carte SIM, not SIM card.
Okay.
How bizarre, right? Then I went to Subway. I asked for a vegetarian sandwich. They didn't understand me. Then I Googled and then I said, "Oh, this is what I want." They said, "Oh, désolé, we don't sell vegetarian sandwich." 10 years back.
Oh my God.
Right? So I obviously wanted to come back. Right? I
I
called
get
my girlfriend back then. Was time ki baat hai. She's my wife now.
Oh.
And I said, "Look, I want to come back. This is I can actually go to any good Indian school, but I don't want to do that."
Oh my God.
And then she just said, "Just wait for a week. If you don't like it in a week, then come back. But at least wait for a week." I stayed for a week. Next, it was Friday. I went on the campus on Monday. I met some other Indian students जिनसे हिंदी में बात कर सकते थे.
What a relief.
वो पोहा लेके आए थे सुबह. And then I had other students. वहाँ जाके मुझे realize हुआ you can actually eat and drink in the classroom.
Okay.
आपको professors को खड़े होके good morning sir, ma'am नहीं बोलना है, right? You have co-ed hostels. You have a very free life over there. The beach is barely 10 minutes. You can actually have as much fun जो आप बता रही थी party वाला culture. You can actually realize that all of this is true. And then she asks me after a week, "Do you want to come back?" I said, "No, I will stay." So this happened with me.
Wow.
So you do get homesick in the very first week. Although now situation is different. Obviously, even the cab drivers, they speak great English. In fact, when I go to France now, I try speaking in French and they talk to me in English.
Wow.
Yeah, because they speak English. I'm not saying that they speak as good English as the British or Americans would, but they definitely speak English. 10 years back, there was no vegetarian burger at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Now they have vegan restaurants.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can give you some, places where you can actually go in your next France trip. So Europe has changed a lot. There are 1,700 programs in English in France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, misconception. हमें लगता है फ्रांस जाएंगे तो फ्रेंच पढ़नी पड़ेगी, जर्मनी जाएंगे तो जर्मन पढ़नी पड़ेगी. No, in this entire podcast, मैंने जितनी भी बात करी वो सारे English speaking programs हैं. Of course, if you go to France, you can also learn French. You go to Germany, you learn German. You go to Spain. That's an added advantage, right? It's a no-brainer. I was in Kerala for a year, 15 years back. I learned Onu Rendu Moonu Nalu. Basic Malayalam.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Right? So I learned basic. So basic language always helps you, right? And so all of that is there, but then it's pretty easy. I mean, for all the audience watching today, it's pretty easy. At the same time, it's pretty tough as well. You just have to pave your path, understand your goal. Do not shift your focus from the goal and just keep working hard, and you would anyway achieve what you're looking for.
Because when you know, as per your research, you're at the best place, things will work out, right?
Absolutely. If you have the belief that this is right for me, right? एक छोटा सा example और 10 साल पहले I went to France. 11 साल पहले I went to a consultant in Gurgaon.
Okay.
Right? उनसे मैंने बोला कि मुझे उस टाइम की बात है, मैंने कहा एक सरदार जी थे, मैंने कहा सरदार जी जर्मनी जाना है.
अच्छा.
तो उन्होंने कहा जर्मनी मत जाओ, अमेरिका जाओ.
अच्छा.
मैंने कहा अमेरिका क्यों जाना है? मैंने आपको बोला मुझे
कनाडा नहीं बोला उन्होंने.
तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, उन्होंने कहा आप अमेरिका जाओ.
अच्छा.
तो एक प्री कंसीव्ड माइंडसेट होता है कि अमेरिका इज द बेस्ट प्लेस टू बी, मुझे अमेरिका ही जाना है, मुझे अपने बच्चों को अमेरिका भेजना है. बट देन एज आई सेड, फोकस बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आपका फोकस है मुझे ये सर्टेन प्रोग्राम करना है, राइट, और मुझे इस यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना है, देन यू जस्ट हैव टू बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ, राइट. एक और एग्जाम्पल, मैं अपनी मॉम के साथ था फ्रांस से 2 साल आने के बाद. मैं मार्से में था, ऑफ कोर्स मैंने आपको बताया, आपने सुना ही नहीं था, किसी ने नहीं सुना था, मैंने नहीं सुना था मार्से. मैं वापस आया अपनी मॉम के साथ, मैं शॉपिंग पे गया था, तो वो बोलते हैं और बेटा कब आए अमेरिका से? मैंने कहा आपको किसने बोला मैं अमेरिका गया? आपके फादर ने बोला था कि आप फॉरेन गए हैं. मैंने कहा हाँ मैं फ्रांस में था. तो दैट इज द माइंडसेट दैट वी हैव, right? Americanized culture, Netflix, McDonald's, Subway. We are born and brought up with this culture, right? So absolutely fine. But then focus is very important. मुझे ये प्रोग्राम करना है, ये प्रोग्राम यहाँ पे होता है. अगर आपको फैशन पढ़ना है तो आप कहाँ जाओगे तमन्ना? लंदन, पेरिस, मिलान, right? लेकिन अगर कोई बोले नहीं मुझे अपने बच्चे को यूएस में ही फैशन पढ़ाना है, टेक्सास में, there is no college in Texas for fashion, no good college. So again, it depends on your goal, aspiration and focus. फिर बाकी दुनिया कुछ भी बोले कि ये सही है वो सही है, you know what is right for you.
अभी इससे मुझे याद आया focus है that what about people who've studied in abroad, they've done got their exposure, done the skill acquisition and everything, and now they want to be an entrepreneur in India. What benefits do they get if they come back to India, start up a business? Do you think, do they get any?
First of all, international network.
Yeah. Oh, yes. 100%.
Yeah. So I'll give you my example. I'll give you my example. So I was working in France for 3 years with foreign universities. Right. I spoke to them. I'm going to India. Do you want to be my client? Because I'm going to create my own company in India. And they said, absolutely yes. So I already got my clients before I set up my business. So network is very, very important. Right? For example, कल तमन्ना आप पेरिस में जॉब कर रहे हो, लुई विटॉन, शैनल, इन सब के साथ. कल आप उन्हें बोलो कि मैं इंडिया में एक सप्लाई चेन का बिजनेस खोल रही हूँ. I would provide you with these handicrafts and everything. Right? They would absolutely say yes to you. Of course, they would look at different factors and parameters and the entire drill. But
if the pitch is good, I already have that credibility in hand.
Absolutely. So you have, number one, you have international network. Number two, you have the embassy support. So for example, if you studied in the UK, you'd always have support from the British Embassy in New Delhi and the consulates pan-India. If you studied in Germany, you would have the German Chamber of Commerce access to you.
Wow.
Right? If you're France alumni, you would have the access of Chamber of Commerce, Indo-French Chamber of Commerce access to you. You can actually reach out to them. There are multiple events. There's Airbus coming to India, Decathlon coming to India. Kal you want to be a partner with Decathlon for a supplier or something, you can actually reach out to them very easily because you are both the part of the same exclusive network. So you do have multiple advantages even if you come back to India and set up your entrepreneurship.
So another question that comes in that एक बहुत basic सा mindset है that if a student is a genius academically, scholarship mil jata hai, that you must have heard since a lot of years this is going on. But if the child is like an average scorer for say 65, 70, 75%, bahut kharcha hoga is kind of a mindset that both the child and the parents have. Then what about that? Is it more about the marks or the strategy when it comes to studying abroad?
Okay, so I think I already answered that question when I talked about the IIT thing from the Kota factory when the student was saying SOP, statement of purpose. India में नहीं मांगते. So India में it's more academically driven. आपको IIT जाना है, IIM जाना है, NIFT जाना है. It's very academically driven. आपको IIM की interview call ही नहीं आएगी if you have 75% time. Right? Foreign में that's not the case. You can actually, I know personally students who have been to Harvard with 640 GMAT.
Okay.
Although the cutoff sometimes for creme de la creme is around 720, 730.
Okay.
Why? Because abroad, they look at holistic profile. Academic is a quarter of your chances, 25%. The other 25% is your statement of purpose. Then they look at your letters of recommendation. Then they look at your extracurricular activities. इनको कोई foreign language आती है, नहीं आती है. They look at your work experience.
And ये जो departments या breakdown है of all of these things, is it very balanced or is it like academic को ज़्यादा और co-curricular को?
It's fixed.
It's fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So academically is always 25 to 30%, never more than that.
Okay.
I'm talking about the creme de la creme, the best schools. Another 25% is basically about your statement of purpose and around letter of recommendation. Another 25% is largely about your overall profile. आप किस टाइप की कंपनी में जॉब करते थे? So for example, let's say कोई बोलता है कि मैं HSBC में फाइनेंस में जॉब करता था और कोई बोलता है मैं XYZ प्राइवेट लिमिटेड में फाइनेंस में जॉब करता था. Both are different sorts of work experience, right? एक उसे XYZ वाला लोकल एक्सपीरियंस देगा, HSBC उसे ग्लोबल एक्सपीरियंस देगा. So they also look at the companies that you have worked with, the kind of job that you've been doing, right? The impact of that job, then your communication skills.
There's a lot of in-depth review.
Absolutely. Okay. Extracurricular activities. They look at everything. So why do you think गुड़गांव में बहुत सारे बच्चे 8th के बाद NGOs में काम करना शुरू कर देते हैं? Because they are looking at Ivy Leagues. गुड़गांव में हर बच्चे को आप देखो पाथवेज या जो भी स्कूल्स हैं जो बहुत महंगे स्कूल्स हैं वहाँ पे हर बच्चा 8th 9th के बाद एक NGO खोल लेता है या बोलता है मैं NGO में पार्ट टाइम काम कर रहा हूँ. क्यों? बिकॉज इट हेल्प्स देम इन बिल्डिंग देयर प्रोफाइल फॉर द टॉप स्कूल्स एंड दैट्स अ गुड स्ट्रेटजी टू हैव. बट देन एट टाइम आई मीन आफ्टर सम टाइम इट बिकम्स रेपिटेटिव बिकॉज लेट्स से इंडिया से 10 बच्चों ने अप्लाई किया है एक बच्चा एनजीओ में है, 2 बच्चे एनजीओ में है, वंडरफुल. 10 के 10 एनजीओ में है.
वो सेट टेम्पलेट बन गया.
And then
as
they
you
would
said.
compare them with Chinese. Chinese में तो ऐसा नहीं है, Brazilians में ऐसा नहीं है, and then they would start rejecting. Right? That is something I always advise to students and parents as well.
Okay.
Right? So when you want to, have something exclusive on your CV, ensure that it's not mass, for masses. Not everybody is doing the same thing. Right? You can't, for example, India में maximum लोग hobbies में क्या लिखते हैं? Singing, dancing, reading book, traveling. Right? What kind of dancing do you do? Do you do Bharatnatyam? Do you do yogic? Do you read? If you read, what kind of books do you read? Do you read fiction? Do you read non-fiction?
That's how in-depth review they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would do it if you. So, for example, let's say if I'm applying to for a job in your company, right? And I just write photography.
What sort of
in my
photography?
CV, and the other person writes, I'm into film production, I'm into music production, I know the CAD design and software design and everything. Who would you hire?
The more detailed guy.
Same is done by universities. They are looking for tiny details which are not there in everybody's profile. So academics, even if you have 85%, nobody can guarantee you an admission at top school.
Oh.
But if you have 60, of course, with just 60, you can't make it. But then you have a great profile. Then you have a better chance. I always advise students that, see, what's done is done. आपके अगर 12th में 60 आ गए, you can't take the 12th again, right? What you can actually do is, of course, अच्छी बात है कि आपके academics strong हो. I'm not saying कि academics खराब होने चाहिए. अगर आपके 80 हैं, it's very nice. 90 हैं, it's very nice. But 60 वाले को हताश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, because there are so many things you can actually do. You learn a foreign language, right? Spanish is spoken in the US, second largest.
So it's a very strategic move, right?
Absolutely.
And you guys guide through it, right?
I hope that every counselor does it, but yeah, we definitely do it.
But one more interesting thing that I read on your website, and even we had a word before, that you kind of obviously have a discussion, counsel them, and make a list of best 5 colleges.
Yes, we do.
And then you kind of guarantee them to, get an admission in one of those.
Yes.
And if you don't do that,
you
return the money.
Yes.
How true is that?
It is absolutely true.
Okay.
And why do we do that? And how do we do that? Let me just explain it to you. So let's say somebody says, this is my dream school, right? We always tell them, see, don't just have one dream school, have a list of 5-6 schools.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Even if you're applying in India, this is for parents and students both. जब आप CAT का फॉर्म भरते हो, तो CAT में 21 कॉलेजेस हैं. आप उन सब का फॉर्म एक ही बार में भरते हो, करेक्ट?
करेक्ट.
तो इंडिया में जब आप एक ही फॉर्म से 21 कॉलेज में अप्लाई कर रहे हो, तो आप फॉरेन में सिर्फ एक यूनिवर्सिटी में क्यों अप्लाई कर रहे हो? आपको वहां मिनिमम 5-6 तो करनी चाहिए. You should always have a list of 5-6 schools.
Correct.
Right? For example, अगर आपको फिल्म मेकिंग करना है, तो आप ये नहीं बोलोगे कि मुझे बस इसी certain specific university में जाना है. You'll make a list of top 5, top 6. That is what we do as well. We prepare a list of 5-6 top universities, and not just a random university कि हाँ ये कोई सी भी 5 उठाई and दे दी. It's always certified as per the rankings, and you can actually do that. For example, when we share the action plan, we also share which ranking platform is it from. Financial Times hai, Times Higher Education hai, QS
the source,
right? Source. Then you make a list of 5, and then you apply with us. And when you apply with us, we do the thorough end-to-end support plan.
Oh wow!
From your resume to एक छोटा सा मिसकंसेप्शन लोगों के पास ये भी होता है, उन्हें लगता है मेरे पास रेज्यूमे तो है, राइट? व्हाई डू आई नीड अनदर रेज्यूमे? आजकल फ्रेशर्स के दिल्ली में 5-5 पेजेस के रेज्यूमे हैं. 5 पेजेस के रेज्यूमे, आपने ऐसा लाइफ में किया क्या है कि आपके 5 पेज के रेज्यूमे हैं? 5 पेज का रेज्यूमे PhDs का होता है जो यूनिवर्सिटी में प्रोफेसर्स हैं, राइट? उसमें वो 10 पॉइंट लिखेंगे, मैंने सिंगिंग करी है, मैंने डांसिंग करी है, मैंने ये किया है, मैंने फलाना ठिकाना किया है, राइट? बट देन आपने एक्चुअली जॉब से रिलेटेड क्या किया है, जिस जॉब के लिए आप जाना चाहते हो. If I want to be an investment banker, have I studied Excel? Have I studied mathematics? Have I done some courses? आजकल सब कुछ online absolutely free available है, right? आप Coursera पे जाओ, edX पे जाओ, do some certifications. What is the point mentioning singing, dancing, traveling, everything? Of course, you can mention one line. So we work on the resume, which resume would stand out, right? Secondly, India में resume लोग professional summary लिखते हैं, objective लिखते हैं. That is not required. अपनी photo लगाते हैं. That is not required. अपने parents का नाम, address भी लिखते हैं. That is not required. That's your CV. It should talk about your academic intellect. It should talk about any work
You
experience
help with a more mature CV.
Absolutely. So we help them with their resume. Then we help them with their statement of purpose. And students often believe that I can actually go to ChatGPT and get a SOP ready, right? Every top university these days, they have a plagiarism software. They would run your SOP through the software. If it is a match, even if it's around 20% match, they'll reject it immediately.
Right.
And what is gone? Your time is gone. Your application fees is gone.
Your one attempt is gone.
Absolutely. And then you can't reapply to the same university for the same academic year. आपका एक साल waste हो गया सिर्फ इस mistake से कि आपने ChatGPT use किया.
There was that laziness that you
Absolutely. So that's why statement of purpose is very important. And it's not just one. There are schools that require 3 to 5 SOPs. हर college के 3 से 5 SOP होते हैं. We work on that.
But if these countries, these foreign countries and foreign colleges have such rigorous and such elaborate process of getting these students in the college, in these institutes, then why not India is doing this? Why are we not refining?
India is doing it in a different way.
Okay.
So India में मैं ये नहीं कहूँगा process गलत है, बस अलग है. इंडिया में एकेडमिक्स पे ज्यादा फोकस है.
बट क्या बच्चे का पैशन और नेचर या उसका एक्सपोजर इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट और रेलेवेंट इन इंडिया?
आई डोंट थिंक सो. इंडिया में कौन पूछता है आपसे कि आपको करना क्या है? इंडिया में कोई नहीं पूछता है. आप किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी को उठा लें, कोई पूछता है कि अच्छा आप कंप्यूटर साइंस में एडमिशन ले रहे हैं, क्यों लेना चाहते हैं? आपसे कोई पूछता है क्यों? कोई नहीं पूछता है. चाहे आप किसी भी एवरेज में जाएं, सब स्टैंडर्ड में जाएं, अच्छे स्कूल में जाएं. India mein all they care is basically, if you have great academics, come to us. We'll train you. Right?
But it's not good for the overall growth of the child if they are pursuing this sort of model.
This is precisely why new education policy by Government of India that came in 2020 is very important.
Correct.
आज से पहले अगर कोई बच्चा इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन ले लेता था तो उसे 4 साल इंजीनियरिंग करनी है, वो छोड़ नहीं सकता. New education policy mein there is a option to have lateral entry. You can actually have 2 years of engineering, 2 years of liberal arts. You can also choose music. There's a university in Mumbai, I won't take the name right now, but they teach music with psychology with engineering. And new education policy allows you to do that. You can actually study accounting and sociology at the same time. अगर किसी बच्चे का इंटरेस्ट है सोशियोलॉजी में लेकिन उसे पता है जॉब तो अकाउंटिंग से ही मिलेगी, यू कैन एक्चुअली डू बोथ इन द सेम कोर्स, 1 माइनर 1 मेजर. आज से 5 साल पहले ये ऑप्शंस नहीं थे, तो आज ये ऑप्शंस हैं. बट स्टिल, सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग इंडिया इज नॉट चेंजिंग, इट इज चेंजिंग एट अ वेरी फास्ट पेस. दैट्स अ गुड थिंग. That students coming out of school now would have a very good career list of choices in coming days, and they would have great career options, and they would have different sort of varied interests and activities as well. But then most of the universities in India are still not doing what foreign universities are doing. They don't ask for SOP, they don't ask for LOR.
And what is the biggest myth that you have around foreign education in India that you see?
I think the biggest myth about foreign education is still pretty much related to the cost.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It hasn't changed. फॉरेन का है तो महंगा होगा. ये एक बहुत बड़ा myth है.
अगर हम बात करें somebody from tier 2 tier 3 city, if they are going, अगर हम एक average cost की बात करें, this is the bracket जिसमें would be the funds required. What would be that bracket if they want to go for higher education to any country?
Okay, again, let me give you a comparison and let me ask you a follow-up question. Same बच्चा, same tier 2 background, right? अगर वो इंडिया के टॉप 10 हटा देते हैं, टॉप 30 में जाना चाहता है MBA करने, तो क्या कॉस्ट होगी आपके हिसाब से?
MBA करने, right? 20 lakhs?
Right? Pretty much on an average. Same cost in Europe.
Exactly same.
Same cost in the UK.
Okay.
Exactly. So for example, if you, again, हमने इंडिया के टॉप 10 हटाए तो मैं फॉरेन के भी टॉप 5 हटा देता हूँ, क्योंकि अगर आप हार्वर्ड जा रहे हो तो 2 करोड़ फीस आपको देनी ही पड़ेगी, right? But if you're looking at top 20 in the UK, most of them, Southampton in Gurgaon, most of them, the average tuition fee is roughly between 15 to 20. Plus you have early bird scholarships if you apply early. Plus you have merit scholarships. You can actually bring down the cost to 10 to 15 lakhs.
Wow.
Then you have part-time jobs, which we didn't talk about. Most of the governments, they allow 20 hours part-time per week. So a student, and let me simplify the maths for you. So let's say there is a student, to answer the same question again. Okay, let's do it differently. एक बच्चा है जो tier 2 city से आता है.
First there is Raj.
Let's say there is Raj,
Okay.
right? Raj comes from Jaipur, okay?
Done.
And he is going to study abroad in the UK,
Okay.
right? He's going to a university which is in top 15, right? Top 15 mein tuition fee would roughly be around 15 to 20 lakhs. Let's say 18 lakhs, okay? For 1 year. The good thing about UK is that you can actually do a 1-year master, whether you have a 3-year degree or a 4-year degree from India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a BCom और a BTech, राज और उसका दोस्त दोनों यूके जाके 1 साल का MBA कर सकते हैं. 1 साल के MBA की कॉस्ट होगी ऑलमोस्ट 18 लाख. There's early bird scholarship, अगर आप 6 से 8 महीने पहले अप्लाई करते हो अराउंड 10%.
Okay.
तो 18 लाख में 1.8 तो ऐसे ही कम हो गए, बचे 16.2. 16.2 में लेट्स होप कि अगर आपका स्कॉलरशिप ऐसे बहुत अच्छा था तो हो सकता है आपको 1-2 लाख की और स्कॉलरशिप मिल जाए.
Okay.
Let's assume only 1 lakh मिली राज को. The tuition comes down to 15.2, right? Now 15 lakhs में से आपकी जो ट्यूशन है वो आपको देनी है. आपने 2-3 लाख डिपॉजिट दे दिया, फिर वीजा अप्लाई किया, बट 15 आपको देना ही है. And now let's talk about internship, because most of the MBAs or master's programs in Europe, they offer internships.
Okay.
And all of them are paid internships.
Wow.
In fact, in France, it's legally not allowed to do an unpaid internship at a
Oh.
university. So all of them are paid internship. Let's assume आपको 1,000 to 1,500 euros के बीच में मिलेंगे. Right? That's the average stipend. Let's assume 1,200 euros or 1,200 pounds in this case, because Raj is going to UK. So 1,200 multiplied by 6 months is how much? 72?
Yeah.
Right? So 7,200 pounds, which is around 8 lakh rupees. तो 15 लाख में 8 लाख तो आप हटा ही दो, बचे कितने? 7 लाख. तो राज की actual cost of investment 7 lakh थी. Now, there's one more thing. We didn't talk about part-time job. In UK, it's pretty easy to get because आपको वहाँ कोई foreign
Culture
language नहीं
and
सीखनी है. Culture भी अपना Indian. I was in Wembley last year and I met a Gujarati student selling samosa.
Oh,
And I
wow.
asked him, of course वो समोसे की दुकान नहीं थी, वो उस restaurant में काम करता था. And I asked him, आप कहाँ से? उसने बताया गुजरात से. And I was like, what do you do? And he said, I'm Gloucestershire में अपना MBA कर रहा हूँ and part time में करता हूँ. So it's pretty easy, right? And then again, Europe, it could be challenging. I'm not saying that, it's same everywhere. So he's earning around 10 pounds an hour, right? He can actually work 20 hours a week. So for a month, it's around 100 hours, 80 to 100 hours. Let's assume only 90 hours.
Okay.
That's 900 pounds,
Okay.
right? So for 1 year is how much?
It was
Roughly around 10 lakh rupees.
okay.
और उसकी cost of investment कितनी थी? 7 लाख.
7.
तो अब वो 3 lakhs के profit में है. और अभी उसकी job लगी नहीं है. जब उसकी job लगेगी, right? That's a whole game altogether. We're not discussing कैसे
The
apply
different
करना है,
cases,
different
yeah.
cases. But when you get the job, as I said, there's a law of minimum wages. You roughly start from 40,000 pounds. Even if it is 35, that's around 35 lakhs. In Germany, it's around 39,000 euro, which is 40,000 euro. In France, that's around 44,000 euro, which is still 45 lakh rupees. So you start from 45 lakhs. You already had reimbursed your entire cost during your part-time.
And in India, the cost is still 20 lakhs.
Because you don't have part-time, you don't have those early birds, you don't have those merit scholarships so much, right? So it would still be there.
Oh my God.
And the return on investment. Again, I think this would be my final example of comparison. Choose the best Indian school. Let's take business school again.
IIMs.
IIMs. Let's not take one name, but let's just choose one of the top 3. Okay. Average tuition fee roughly around 35 lakhs, right? Cost of living and everything included 5 more. So that's 40. If you travel abroad on an exchange program, add 5 more. That's around 45 lakhs, right? Now, what is your average CTC? You can actually Google. That's roughly around 30 lakhs. Most of the top IIMs, 30 to 35, right? Now, your CTC is not your enhanced salary. Right? You cannot actually divide it by 12. So let's say 35 May, you would be getting around 1.6, 1.8 lakhs.
Yeah.
Right? So let's assume आपको 1.6 lakhs मिलते हैं per month, right? Now 1.6 lakhs में आप 50 to 60 तो आप अपने higher education का loan आप चुकाओगे अगले 7 सालों तक, right? तो 1.6 minus 60 is how much? 1, right? 1 में अगर आपकी job लगेगी तो of course जबलपुर और कोयम्बटूर और ऊटी और मनाली और शिमला में तो लगेगी नहीं. You'd be getting your job in tier 1 cities, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, Gurgaon, Delhi, right? Let's assume आपका cost of living roughly around 20 है, right? आने जाने का, shopping का miscellaneous 30 to 40 है, खाने पीने का सब कुछ मिला के maids and this and that and internet 50. Your net saving is only 50,000 rupees after the top Indian MBA. And अगले 7 सालों तक you are under loan. Correct? Right? Now let's compare it with, I'm not even saying number 1 business school in Europe, right? Let's choose a random business school.
Mm.
Or let's just choose my business school. Yeah. So I went to Kedge, did international business, and the average starting salary is 45,000 euro. Right? That's 47 lakh as of today's exchange rate. Right? Now, same taxes. India में भी same है, वहाँ पे भी same है. अच्छी चीज़ ये है कि France और India में taxes same है, 30%. So 47 lakhs, and this is not your CTC, by the way. You can actually divide it by 12. Because in India, we have this concept of cost to company. आपको AC, खाना, पीना, सबका पैसा देना है, वहाँ पैसा नहीं है. So you divide 47 by 12, right? That's roughly around close to 4 lakhs, right? Let's say 3.8 or something. Again, आपका लोन तो 60,000 था, तो 60,000 माइनस करते हैं 3.8 में से, बचे कितने? 3.2, right? 3.2 में आपके टैक्सेस भी इंडिया से हटा देते हैं, जितने यहाँ थे उतने ही ऑलमोस्ट वहाँ पे भी होंगे 30% के आसपास, बट वो 30% टैक्सेबल इनकम पे होता है, जिसमें आपको ऑलमोस्ट 500 to 600 यूरो आप फूड कूपन्स आपको मिलते हैं. वो आपकी कंपनी आपको एक क्रेडिट कार्ड या सोडेक्सो कूपन्स देती है.
Okay.
Right? तो उस पे वो नॉन टैक्सेबल होता है, तो उस पे यू डोंट हैव टू पे टैक्सेस. द टैक्सेस आई वाज पेइंग बैक इन यूरोप वाज रफली अराउंड 500 euros a month. Now let's assume it's around 700 euros or 800 euros. That's around 80,000 rupees, right? So 3.2 minus 80,000. That's how much? 2.4. रहने खाने का आपका जोड़ लेते हैं, आपका 50,000. चलिए मैं कहता हूँ 80,000 आपका रेंट जोड़ लिया. 800. I was paying 500 euros rent. Let's assume आज की डेट में रेंट बढ़ गया 800. Another 200 for vegetarian person. Right? So I'm vegetarian. So that's 1,000 euros. That's 1 lakh. 2.4 minus 1.4, 1 lakh. That's 1.4. Your net saving there is 1.4.
Which was 15.
50 in India. So that's almost 3 times the ROI. And I didn't even compare the number 1 of India with number 1 of Europe. So that's the kind of return on investment you have.
Where were you few years back? Oh my God.
Well, happy to be here today.
But I mean, it's so mind-boggling and just gives me goosebumps on why are we not aware about this? Where do I put these hoardings of this?
Well, all of this, as I said, I'll repeat myself, is available on internet. It's just that we need to find the right information. It's just one search away, right? And you can actually take help from internet these days. It's pretty simple. I'm not producing any gyan. It's all available there. I just picked up the right data and presented to your viewers.
So anybody who's watching this right now, any student, any parent who's watching this right now, and they want any sort of clarity or any message that you want to give them or any support that you and your brand can provide, I would just ask you to just...
So my recommendation would be that, first of all, if it is a student, ask yourself why. Do you want to go abroad? What do you want to do? And if it is the parents, then of course you need to understand what your children are capable of or what is their interest. On the basis of interest, it's very easy these days to prepare a list of what they want, what are the kind of platforms they want, where do they want to go, and why do they want to do it. It's as simple as that. If you answer these questions, क्यों करना है, कब करना है, और कहाँ से करना है, then the entire journey becomes very easy.
And कैसे करने का है तो advisory is there.
कैसे करना है, of course. As I said, the first thing is do your own research, right? Don't just blindly believe anyone. Secondly, take help from internet platforms. And if you need professional help, even after both of these searches, come to us. We'll be very happy to help you. And as I said, we either give you admission or we give you your money back. We are the only company in India with 2 different exclusive benefits. Number 1, all the counselors that we have are alumni counselors. And the second thing is we offer assured admit or money back guarantee to all Indian students.
How beautiful. I mean, I've got my best answers. I did not expect this much clarity.
Well, I'm very happy that this was a very fruitful conversation, not just for us, but for the viewers as well.
100%.
And I hope they can learn a thing or two maybe. And maybe for those of the viewers who are not able to watch this, maybe people can share this with them. And they would get more idea and more information, and it will only help them, benefit them.
Because it was so much, it was not about one country over another, right? It was more about awareness over assumption.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And the kind of, mirror you showed, and it was beautiful. Thank you so much for taking out your time again. And I'm grateful that you were so transparent about everything. You were not biased.
Yeah.
There was no, any sides or inclination
Yeah.
that I saw. Thank you so much for coming to Mike.
My pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
So guys, if you have any doubts and you think you have any questions to our expert today, you can definitely comment down, and we will be tagging the brand too. So if you want to reach out, you definitely can. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this episode.